I realized that I was getting a lot done, but not the things that I actually wanted to get done. There's no frills in this planner. So I put tabs at the top, and they're not real tabs, they're digital tabs. Hello, I'm Jessica and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to go over Jordan Page's productivity planner. I was never a planner person, I was a list person. I just wrote down thousands of lists. I had list papers everywhere, post-it notes, digital reminder lists, everything. And I realized that I was getting a lot done, but not the things that I actually wanted to get done. To cut things short, I found Jordan Page's planner. And it was a block planner. I hadn't known the concept before, made total sense. If you want to watch her videos on explaining it better, I will link them below. I also did a review of one of her other formats. So this is the productivity planner that does a kind of a daily block, and she also has a weekly block. So I'll link my review of the weekly block somewhere else. This was the first planner that I actually found that I thought was semi-affordable for what it was, and it was down to the basics of what I actually needed and what I would use. And it's the first planner I've used in its entirety. I loved all the cutesy Erin Condren, I think is how it's called, and all these other planners, but I knew I would never use them enough to especially have to buy a new one each year. So I bought the Jordan Page 6-month one, loved it. I used it throughout the school year, took a break during the summer, then used the rest of it during the rest of the school year. And then toward the very end, I just ripped out all the pages I'd used and then kind of used up what was left over, because most Saturdays and Sundays, I wasn't block planning. Sometimes I was, sometimes I wasn't. So I kind of made myself use up the whole rest of the planner. And I was pretty proud of myself for using it up and how productive it did make me. When I meal planned every week, when I planned out my week, I would actually get the things done that I wanted to get done. And it made such a huge difference. So I loved her planner. I had to really budget for it. It was my Christmas gift in 2020. I saved up for it. I waited for her Black Friday sale. And also with the discount, she even had a buy one, get one free. So I found a friend who also wanted to give it a try. And then we got it a lot cheaper. But even then, I think it was still close to $25, $24. So not insane, especially compared to what some people pay yearly for their planners. And if they use them, then that's fine. I'm just down to the basics. And so I liked that it pretty much had weekly meal planning, it had monthly tracking, a monthly calendar, and daily blocks for each week. So for me, that was key. Then she came out with the digital format, and it was called the Productivity Planner Lite. And I think it mainly came around due to not being able to get printed copies during 2020. So after I had used up my first one, it was still available, and I decided to buy the digital copy. My main reasoning for it is I wanted to be able to fill in the dates on my monthly view, like fill in the numbers digitally, so I didn't have to hand do it. And I also wanted to be able to add in my days of the week for like the meal planning, for instance, digitally. And same thing with my blocks, which I think I did my blocks. Yeah. So even my blocks at the time, I did digitally, filled it in, and then I could print it out like that. The best bang for your buck, I would say, is probably the digital planner, because you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. I did a 6-month version of her hardcover, and it was heavy and big, and I felt like I needed to take it everywhere, but didn't want to lug it around everywhere. So I bought this planner Lite, and it was, I think it was $12. No discounts or sales, which I totally understand. I bought it so I could do that. And the cheapest thing would be to do three ring hole punch, put in a binder, and call it a day. The nice thing about the printable is you can print as many or as few months as you want. So in this one, I just did 2. Mainly, I was trying to try out this binding system. And so this is called disc bound. There's different names for it, but I bought these metal discs on Amazon and then bought the punch. And then I bought the clear page to use, but you can use different fun patterns if you want to design your own cover or have no cover. Totally up to you. This was just one option. I used these tabs, and I can link them, but pretty much they're restickable. They're the coolest things I've ever seen if you like tabs. And so here I made all the months, and if you want to move it, you just pull it off. And as you can see, these have been used multiple times, but you just stick it on wherever you want and they stick. They're really, really cool because you can just keep reusing them. What I really liked about her planners is that there's not a lot of fluff. So I loved this saying that she had. Then every month is a month at a glance, and the digital format, what I liked about it is that if you open it in Canva or in even in Pages or Word, you can just add in numbers if you want, or you can handwrite it in. Some people really like the process. There's a monthly tracker, which I don't use that much, but I probably should, and then a notes page. And then after that, I'm gonna skip to one of the other weeks just so you can see a blank copy. So her week starts off with a weekly meal planner, and so you put the days of the week here and what you're going to be eating and the shopping and inventory. What I do is, and I think is how she does it too, is you go through and figure out what you have in your fridge, pantry, or freezer that you either want to use up or in the fridge really need to be used up so it doesn't go bad. And then you can also make a shopping list of things you need for these meals. Then there's a weekly to-do list, and you can write that at the top. And the main thing is that you write the most important things for the week down. You just bring them over to each week. So here's week 4, and here you go. So this was one day, and then you use the little bubble to say what day of the week it is, and then you can write in your daily blocks. And she suggests that you do 1 to 1.5 hours per block, and then you can decide if it's plugged or unplugged, and that means from technology or your phone. And then they have these sections at the top and these at the bottom for the end of the night. Meals and notes. I have seen if you have the digital format, you can ghetto hack your own. So if you want this to say something else, you can kind of do that in the digital format. But I do find these pretty good. And so then this is just, Monday through Sunday, and you just keep going. And then at the very end is a notes page. So the nice thing about the digital is that, let's say you don't use the monthly tracker, you can leave it out. It's just kind of how you use the planner. And then here's the next week. So you can kind of see this is week 5. And so for me, the biggest thing is that there's no frills in this planner. It is exactly what I need, which is meal planning and keeping track of things. I feel like these daily blocks are very detail oriented, and during the year, this is what helps me get stuff done. Then I did a review on her weekly planner, and I really liked that one, but honestly, only for the summer. During the summer, it was perfect because I felt like I don't need to plan as much during that time. Used this for a year and then was getting ready to print this all out again for the next year when my husband kind of convinced me to get a used iPad and a used iPad pencil. The biggest draw for me is that my husband put a sticker on my tablet that makes it feel like paper. So it's kind of a matte sticker. And when I use my pencil and actually write on my tablet, it gives the feeling of pencil and paper, or pen and paper, because at first I was totally not interested in digital planners. So now if you look in the world of digital planners, it is eye-opening. I had no idea what all you could do with it. The biggest selling feature for me was that I already had the digital format of this that I could just open in the program that I wanted. And then if let's say on my meal plan page, if I open to one of my weeks and I have my meal plan page, so if I wrote up here that I need to use up lettuce and I want to buy chips on my actual grocery list and I forgot to check, I can pull up my phone, same app that I use for my planner on here, and it will open to the last page I was on and I can see. You can also add digital tabs to this as well. In Keynotes is how I do it with Apple. I know there is a Microsoft or Android equivalent, but I don't know exactly what it is. Will I get rid of my disc-bound stuff? Probably not. I might just turn this into a notebook. Finding a case was difficult. I was very particular about the kind of case. I needed one that was protected because there's a chance my kids might use this occasionally for apps, even though it's my iPad, and I wanted one that was very adjustable. So if I want to watch something while I'm folding clothes versus use it as a tablet versus have it at a weird angle, I wanted to have that. The app that I like to use the most is called Goodnotes. I have Goodnotes 5. They have recently come out with Goodnotes 6. I don't know if you can still buy Goodnotes 5. A lot of people also like Evernote. I just did want to say as well that I'm in no way paid by Jordan Page. She has no idea who I am. I just really like her products and her way of thinking. I think she's very smart with how she came up with the system, and I really, really like it, and I do think it's worth the money. I don't think it's worth the money to get in debt over, so I made it a priority to save for it, and since then, it's been worth its weight in gold. Using a digital planning, buying a tablet for this is not budget friendly. I would say if you're gonna look into the Jordan Page planner, either start with the digital one, print it out and put it in a 3-ring binder, and really get a feel for if you think you'll like it, or go ahead and get the 3-month or the 6-month one and try it out, and then go from there. If you already have a tablet, then it can be much more affordable or easier to then look for the corresponding Apple Pencil. There's two different kinds. Some work with some iPads, some don't. So make sure to do your research on which one you need. But I would never say go out and buy that right away. I am surprised how much I like digital planning. The hardest part with digital planning is how many planners there are out there. Once you figure out how to edit a few things on the tablet or on the Keynotes app, it's kind of the sky's the limit. So if you find something else on a different planner that you like, you can incorporate it into this one. So that's the flexibility of it, is what I really like. I'm not tied or married to this forever. I can always change it up. Or if I decide this planner is no longer fitting my needs, I can just buy a different digital planner if I want. Etsy, there are so many sellers that sell custom digital planners that can be customized to whatever you want. And so that beauty of things is really cool. This is what I'm going to use for my digital planner. This is an iPad Pro 11-inch. It's a second generation. I got it used, and then I have an Apple Pencil, and I'm pretty sure this is the second generation Apple Pencil, but depending on which iPad or tablet you have, you will have to look at what is the corresponding pencil for you. So as you can see here, I have a matte sticker on my actual iPad, and so it makes it that when I draw or write or make notes on it, that it feels like paper and pencil. So I really like that. So here's my planner in my email. So I'm going to click on it, and here it's showing it. And I'm going to open it in Goodnotes, so I can hit export. So here's Goodnotes, and I can click on that, and then it will ask me to import, and I want to import as new document. So you can do it that way. There's my planner, and I can kind of go through it, and this is Jordan Page's digital planner. Another way you can do it, if you've already saved your file, so if I go back to the email, if I long click on it, I can just hit save to files. And then you can pick where you want to save it to. So I can save it to downloads if I want. So if you go to the Goodnotes app, you can hit new, and then I'm going to say import. Here is my file. So I'm going to check that and hit open. Then it will import it. And this is pretty much getting me to the exact same view as before. If you hit the three buttons, you can change all different types of things that you would like to do. You could have a different cover, and you could just add a page. So you could say add a page, you can call it whatever you want, and add that. So the one thing that I did when I first started using this planner is I went through, and for instance, this page, I don't need, because it's just blank, and it makes more sense on a printed version because this is technically the back page of this, so that's why it's here. So if you hit the three dots in the top, you can say move page to trash, and hit trash. So now when I go through, if I swipe, now I have this one, this planner belongs to. I'm also gonna delete this one because I don't really have a need for it. If you've never used a Jordan Page planner, very good to read this, but all of these extra things I don't want in here right now. Like, they're in my original file. I can always go and reference them later. And so I'm going through and deleting some of these, but what you can do too is you can hit this little square button in the top, and it shows all the pages. So what I can do if I want is hit select, and I can select all of these first kind of template pages. Now I do like this quote page, so I'm going to leave that. She also has these define your block pages. Those I'm just going to get rid of because right now, for an everyday planner, I don't need this. So I'm gonna hit trash. So this planner Lite is a 1 month planner, which is actually a really nice size. So you could use it for a month and then erase everything or save it as a new month each time. So I'm gonna hit done and close. So now when I scroll through, I have the productivity planner, the first page, then I have the quote because I do like this one, and here's my first month. And then here's the monthly tracker, meal planner, and to-dos. And then also here's the first block. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you get the gist. If you turn it to the landscape, to the horizontal instead of vertical, it still will just be the one page. It doesn't do the double pages because this was not meant to be a digital planner in this format. So I want to change the name of this planner. So I'm gonna hit this little down arrow and actually just click there and hit the X. And then I'm going to, down at the bottom, hit my English to show keyboard. You can always move this keyboard around if you want it in a different spot. I'm gonna call it Month Planner Template, done. And so here it's changed the name. So this way, if I go back to my view, it's right here, Month Planner Template. And what I can do is I can duplicate it. And so this is the copy of the month planner. And now I'm going to exit out of the previous one. So I'm gonna change this to be September 2023, and then you hit just that. So now I have my 1 month, and you could easily do it this way. This way, if you wanna look back at what you were doing, you can always go back, see things in the past if you wanna see, what did I do then? Or how did I plan this? And you could save it this way. Some people will choose to just delete this and make a new one each time, but this way you kind of have your blank template ready. Here is September, and I want to start filling it in. So you have multiple options. So first, you're going to need to click this little pencil with a circle right over here in the top right. And once you click it, you're in the edit view. You can change so I'm on fountain pen, there's a ballpoint pen, there's a brush pen. They have different ways that they look. I prefer the fountain pen, but it's totally up to you. You can change the sensitivity, you can change the sharpness, so you definitely can play around with that. This is the eraser tool, this is the highlighter tool, this makes shapes, and this is the lasso tool, which is also really good. And then there's also different things, stickers, and you can add pictures, and this one brings a field in. This is the text box if you don't want your actual handwriting. We're just gonna go through some of these. So first of all, let's just go with the pencil. Here is the thickness and thinness. So if I write here, if I write a little squiggle, that's thin. If I go to the medium one, it's a little thicker. And here's the thickest. Now you can even edit these. So if I go to the thinnest and kind of hit it again, you can change it to what you want. Same thing with the medium if you want it a little bit thicker. Over here are the colors. So you can hit presets and just go with the standard ones that they have. You can do custom, and then you can do history and to see some of the ones you've used in the past. So I'm going to go with custom, and I'm going to get a purple because that sounds fun right now. I'm going to erase, and you can also change how big. So if I kind of want to erase everything, I'm going to use the largest setting, and you can go differently on that. On this month, I can just handwrite September. You can also erase it. Oh, if I hit that, you can hit the undo, you can do the return, you can zoom in by pinching. And there are so many tutorials on how to make great planners and how to customize them and make them pretty, but it's totally up to you. If you want to handwrite things, you can do that. So like the 1st of September was Friday, so I could go through and add my numbers manually. Or you can use this text box. So you hit the text box, you hit where you want, then you can start writing. So I can say September. Then if you want to move it, you hit these little bars at the top and I can move. So let's say I want it like that, and you can make your box bigger, smaller. You can also double click and it will select all of them. And at the top here, I can change my font color. I can change the font size that I want. So let's say I want that size, and then I realize, ooh, I need to make this box bigger. But let's say I want it to look like that. And there is that done. And you click anywhere and it takes it away. A lot of times I like to do my titles and my numbers manually, and then I prefer to handwrite in everything else. So I like to go to the shapes, and you can pick a different color. So let's do blue. So let's say I did water. And if you kind of do your shape and hold on to it, then it makes it nice and even. You could also use the highlighter and pick a different color, and you could just color in, like you could do dots if you wanted to see how often. Let's say this is my first block, and here I really like to use my highlighter. I just think it's fun, so I'll do the pink. So I would do one there for Monday, and I don't get as exact because I kind of like the look of it a little bit more. So I would go through and I would do the days of the week quickly. So let's say I have this set, and this lasso tool is really cool because you can select whatever you want to select. And once it's selected, you kind of hard press and you can hit copy. And so then I can go to my next page and press down and hit paste. And then I can put it where I want it, and I could resize it if I wanted, which I don't, but I can go through and kind of get my whole week of blocks set for the whole time. Now, some people really like the process of writing the planner and doing the brain dump and really setting up for every day. So that's totally up to you. And for instance, on the weekends, my time blocks are going to be totally different. They also have these really cute stickers, and you can actually load your own from online. There's so many free ones. So for instance, here is a little post-it note, and you can kind of put it wherever you want. You can resize it, you can turn it. So for instance, under notes, I might put this here just for fun, and then you can actually write on top of it. Or if I go back to the monthly view, for instance, here you can go on the little stickers, and if I knew it was someone's birthday, I could resize this and put it on here as kind of a reminder. One of the other things you could also do if you prefer to use text boxes is make sure that instead of the pen tool, you have your text box selected. You can click wherever, and let's say we want to write in the date. So I can select all and then change the size. I can change the color here, and I'm going to, so let's say I do it like that. I'm going to also go back, use my highlighter, and I'm going to do my days of the week. So I want to label these because I'm going to be reusing my blocks. So I'm going to click in the middle. I'm going to hit morning and hit done. Then I'm going to go to my lasso tool and select it, circle it, and then I'm going to hard press on it, and I'm going to hit resize. And then I can rotate and resize. So for instance, I can put that there. I can make it bigger, smaller. So I think I like that. And then I'm going to copy and paste. If you hit the space bar on your keyboard, you can scroll through, and I'm going to just go through and do this to every block. So either way, you can either handwrite it or you can do it this route and have it written out, and then you can have your whole month done pretty quickly. And what you could do is, if you know your blocks are always going to stay the same, you could do this in your template and then have this portion always populated. You could populate as much of this as you want, save it in your template, and then every month do the few changes that you want. It's totally up to you. Some people like to change the colors that they use per month. For instance, September, they might be feeling fall, so they might do everything in orange. So if we wanted to look more fall, we can always change the color to orange and go from there. Eventually, I did switch to adding actual tabs. I'm gonna show you one of my current planners right now that I use. This is this planner. And so if I go into the non-edit view, so just the view itself, I can go to the month of September. So I put tabs at the top, and they're not real tabs, they're digital tabs, but they are linked to different areas. So this is the month of September, so I can still manually scroll through if I would like to, or let me go to week 4. So this is week 4 of September. I can see I did a meal plan, and I can scroll through. So here's my to-do list. Here are some of my daily blocks, and I either cross out or I highlight depending on how you want to do it. So if I go to the editing section, and if I go to highlight, let's say I finished folding clothes here, I can go over it, and if you hold, then it does it a straight line, or you can kind of, if you want a certain look to it, you can always do it like that as well. In the editing mode, your tabs do not work. Like if I click on it, it just doesn't do anything. It's just me writing over there. But if I am in this view and I just want to get to things, then my tabs do work. So this is week 4, week 5. I personally added even more mini tabs, which is kind of overkill. So for instance, if I hit the home button, it takes me to the very front of the planner. If I go to February, it takes me to the month of February, and then I can go through the different weeks. I have these little tabs here. So this one takes me to the meal plan for the week, which I'm already on. But if I, go over here and hit, so here I'm on Tuesday. If I click on this, it takes me to the weekly meal plan of week 2. And so that's why I kind of set them here. This takes me to the monthly workout tracker. So this is February monthly tracker. If I go to January and go to week 2 and hit the monthly tracker, it's a different page. It's kind of hard to tell. Do I have any of them filled out? I think only September. Yes, so here we're in September week 3. If I click the workout, it takes me to the September workout tracker. This clipboard takes me to the to-dos of the week, and this bottom one takes me to the notes page. So I chose to do it this way. This is just the way I did it. And so if you would actually like to see a tutorial on how to add the digital links, I can show you. I am not a professional on this. I just love the Jordan Page planner, but I kind of wanted to, instead of having to always swipe through everything, being able to use the tabs. However, if it's just a 1-month planner at a time, I very rarely would need to go back to this month view personally. So it's totally up to you. This is the much easier chug and plug, load it in, go with it. But if you do want to see a tutorial of how to add the tabs, I can show you how to do that, or I can put some links below of some of my favorite tutorials that I followed to make this version of the planner. But it is pretty much the exact same thing, only a little bit more functionality, if that makes sense. I'm not going to become a digital planning YouTube channel. I just really wanted to show something that made a huge difference in my life as a mom. If you have any questions about the planner, or if you've tried it and did or didn't like it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But I hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for watching. Cheers!